Yeah, Colorado. Denver. Where's Golden? Shout out to Golden. Golden, where's Golden? Fort Collins, Colorado. Yeah, Denver. Check. Yeah. I will give it up to my hometown of Mile High City. Oh, what's up, Denver, Colorado? Living in the past, no, not me. Believing it'll last. Living in a dream, cause regrets and mistakes are memories made. But to learn from that is another trade. And change. Never stay the same. Who's to blame? Always gonna fade. If you're living in the shade, never gonna be half of what I demonstrate. So keep on hating, keep on saying the same conversation. Now I'm not gonna make it. You're breaking me down just to build me up. And soon enough, I'ma blow the fuck up. So wait and see me become everything you thought you'd be. Jealousy, cause I'm going down in history. All the illest team greater than the Justice League. When you're feeling that, then put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. And I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but this is change up. I gotta tell the truth when I say you, I really mean me. Think about it, please. So talking all about myself, I doubt myself, but out here don't help. I'm here alone and I stand alone. When I'm in the zone, I'm 20 feet tall. I'm a ball till I fall. Even then, I'm a crawl. I'm a shine like a star, and I'm never been the small.
What's up, sports fans? This is Sam with Shady Sports Network, and today I'm bringing you my USFL preseason power rankings. Just about 12 hours before kickoff of the first week of USFL action. Starting with Pittsburgh Maulers, Kirby Wilson's crew. Leaning on Kyle Laletta and Josh Lev at quarterback position is something that I do not necessarily think is the best opportunity for success, although I am fairly interested in seeing their run game led by Andre London and Garrett Groshek, as well as fullback Mikey Daniels. They have a couple notable former NFL players in Ethan Westbrooks and Vidal Alexander, although I was very interested to see their highest running back pick, Devion Smith, is no longer with the squad and was actually replaced by Mondre London. All these guys are bigger backs. Both of them weigh 215 pounds plus, so I expect to see a smash mouth version of football with Pittsburgh, much like the Steelers, but I do not see Kirby Wilson ultimately finding success in year one due to his inexperience. At number 7, we have Michigan. Jeff Fisher lands 7th because naturally he loves to rack up 7-9 records in the NFL. Just kidding. That has nothing to do with it. He's 7th because I am not sold on Shea Patterson, Paxton Lynch at quarterback. I think both of them were fairly poor picks, and I think they were trying to play on the Michigan ties of Shea Patterson, and then they thought Paxton Lynch was the best available quarterback in round 12 when they got to select the second one. I do not agree with either decision, but I often don't agree with Jeff Fisher's decisions, and I've always kind of been perplexed at how he was able to stay in the NFL so long, despite all the losing he did. Ultimately, it'll be interesting to see a couple different players. Like currently, they don't have a kicker. Is their punter going to pull double duty? We don't know yet. Is Jeff Badette going to ball out? I'm very interested to see how he does. We also saw 3 players not report to camp already. So it's very interesting to see the attrition that Jeff Fisher's squad has had already. And it'll be interesting to see how he succeeds in year one. Moving on to team number 6, that's Birmingham. Skip Holtz's squad has a very well-rounded and deep roster at every position except for quarterback, the most important one. Alex Mago and Jamar Smith are both pedigree quarterbacks. Alex Mago came from the NFL. Jamar Smith most recently with the CFL, spent some time with the Patriots the year before that. But they were tapped to lead the team despite this inexperience. Mago, formerly, as I said, with the Titans, did not play much. Same thing with Smith. He was an off-season practice squad guy only. Ultimately, he moved on to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and again, he didn't play a whole lot. Can't wait to see their run game either, with Tony Brooks-James, Bobby Holly, and CJ Maribel. It'll be very interesting to see, as well as Bandon Aubrey trying to make the conversion to football, Colby Wadman, a former Denver punter, and Manasseh Bailey, a former Eagles receiver. Team number 5. This is Kevin Sumlin's Houston Gamblers. At quarterback, they drafted a former Eagles quarterback, Clayton Thorson, who we drafted, I think, in the 6th round a couple years ago. He's expected to start with Kenji Bahar right on his heels. Kenji Bahar was Lamar Jackson's backup last season. We saw him play a little bit in preseason, do pretty well, but he ultimately did not make the active roster and ended up on the practice squad most of the year. He bounced on and off in the practice squad due to injuries, but he ultimately never quite stuck. Tyler Palka is their 3rd-string quarterback, and he's going to play wide receiver. He's a guy who's kind of done a little bit of everything in the XFL prior to this. Also interesting to see JoJo Ward, Teo Redding, and Isaiah Zuber on the wide receiver position. Team number 4. This is the now Luis Perez-led New Jersey Generals. Granted, they have another backup in DeAndre Johnson, a former Last Chance U star. Ultimately, I think Perez, with his experience in multiple spring leagues prior to this, will be the starter. I'm also interested to see how former Ivory Coast native Darius Victor teams with the man of a million teams, Trey Williams. I expect them to focus on the run game and play defense with a ton of prominent names on the defensive side of the ball, including many NFL guys. Team number 3, that is the New Orleans Breakers. In my eyes, New Orleans may have gotten the dark horse for the best quarterback in the league, and that is Kyle Sloter. If you are a Denver Broncos fan, you remember this guy. Chances are, if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan, you remember him as well. He's been a preseason star several times over. I'm talking over 70% completion rate. Always has a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio or better. And I expect to see more of the same in the USFL in his first season. I think he is ultimately a bottom-level NFL quarterback and a high-level USFL quarterback. And I expect him to dice up defenses in 2022. He also has former NFL receivers at his fingertips in Tywan Taylor and Chad Williams, and he will also be joined by former Super Bowl champion running back and return ace TJ Loken. It was also interesting to see that Derek Jones settled his CFL woes and will rejoin the Breakers after being drafted by them and ultimately not being granted his release from the CFL. Team number 2 is Jordan Teamu and Todd Haley's Tampa Bay Bandits. I believe the Bandits got the best quarterback in the league. I am a huge Jordan Teamu fan, and I will sing his praises till he retires because I think he is super exciting. He was a rookie during the XFL, and I was a huge fan of his with the Battlehawks. He actually ended up being like the 2nd most efficient quarterback in the league behind only PJ Walker, who still is with the Carolina Panthers since the XFL shut down. I thought Teamu was going to end up sticking in the NFL as well with the Kansas City Chiefs. He did not, and we now get to see him with former Kansas City Chiefs head coach and former Pittsburgh offensive coordinator Todd Haley. This is a guy who knew what he wanted in a quarterback. He went out and got the best quarterback, as I stated before, and he also brought in a backup who is fairly young, so he is counting on Teamu to stay healthy in 2022. Interested to see what they do in the backfield with their primary running back, BJ Emmons, a career running back by committee type player. They have a ton of guys who are former NFL, CFL players on the defensive side of the ball, and they might end up surprising a few teams and shutting them down. Without further ado, our number 1 team is, of course, the Philadelphia Stars. And no, this has nothing to do with my bias towards Philadelphia or the Eagles. I am a Stars fan, but I am more a Stars fan because of my ties to Philadelphia, and it has nothing to do with the reason why I think they're going to be successful. Bart Andrews went out and specifically targeted coaches, quarterbacks, and offensive players as a former quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, and now head coach and general manager. He got 2 quarterbacks, not 1 but 2, that know his system, that are helping him coach his system to their wideouts, to their running backs, that don't know the offense already. Because Darnell Holland, a running back, the expected starter of the running back room, and 2nd running back ever taken in the USFL draft, he also has experience with Bart Andrews, I believe with XFL Team 9 in 2020. He knows the scheme, he knows Andrews as a coach, and he's likely helping Matt Colburn and Paul Terry, who is a offensive weapon learn the offense. They also have multiple offensive linemen that were in Andrews' scheme in the spring league or various other stops, which are also helping teach this scheme. He's going to have a huge advantage because the majority of his offense that's starting already knows the offense. He didn't have to do a lot of install. It was more like he jumped right into practice and had to get a couple of guys up to speed. Now defensively, we have no idea what it's going to look like, but he does have a lot of former NFL and CFL talent on defense, and I'm a big fan of the guy that he hired as the defensive coordinator position. But ultimately, I'm most excited to see how he uses his running back room. As I stated before, Darnell Holland, Matt Colburn, and Paul Terry are all about as versatile as they come, and I expect all three of them to get an offensive role in 2022. It was interesting to see them ultimately lose Bug Howard, who did not report to camp, but they replaced him with Pro Wells, a former TCU tight end, who showed he can be a red zone weapon and a little bit of a blocker. With that being said, to recap, Philadelphia Stars is the #1 team, followed by the Tampa Bay Bandits, New Orleans Breakers, New Jersey Generals led by Luis Perez now, Houston Gamblers, Birmingham Stallions, Michigan Panthers, and last but not least, Pittsburgh Maulers. More importantly, I would like y'all to stick with me. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you get your notifications every time I post a new video like this one, and like my week 1 recap, which will be done on Tuesday with a familiar name to you XFL fans. If you've heard of XFL Jim, that's right. Me and him will be joining forces for a collaboration video on Tuesday. So catch that this upcoming week. Keep an eye out. All the more reason for you guys to click on the notification bell so you find out every time we post a video. Also, later on in the week, I will be doing an audio recap of week 1 with Travis, a contributor here on Shady Sports Network, and Travis is also a guy who follows the UFC, so you should check him out on Colorcast. That's where we will be broadcasting later on this week to discuss the USFL Week 1 matchups, which are, of course, kicking off tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern and finishing up on Sunday, Easter Sunday. They decided to kick off. I wonder if this will be a new tradition. I know my family always follows Thanksgiving dinner by watching football. It would be interesting if Easter became the same way for families across America, with the USFL playing every Easter Sunday, and maybe even opening weekend every Easter Sunday. That'd be very interesting going forward. But ultimately, that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you liked the video. Once again, please like, subscribe, comment. I want to hear your opinions. This all helps push us out to more viewers. We've kind of hit a wall on the subscriber front, so if you're not already subscribed and you like the content, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, click on the notifications, share with your friends, share on Facebook, Twitter, wherever. We're everywhere. So if you don't prefer to get your news here on YouTube, you can check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. We're starting on there as well. Pretty soon here, I'm going to start putting all of our audio broadcasts up on SoundCloud, whether it's from Colorcast, Twitter Spaces, or various other platforms. And yeah, just continue to stick with us because we're only going to continue to grow in the future. And I've got some great contributors on this channel that will be producing solo videos here going forward. Check out LeCedric's interview with Europe League 21 Defensive Player of the Year, Kyle Kitchens, which is live on the channel now. Check out my recent interviews with wide receiver Caleb Egan's, headed to the 2022 NFL Draft, as well as Justin Arth, a quarterback who is best known for his time at Texas Wesleyan, but will soon be known for his time in the CFL and NFL. Both of those guys are very interesting, very good guys that you want to root for, so go ahead and check out their interviews. And as I mentioned before, check out Kyle Kitchen's interview with my co-host LeCedric Green. It was his first interview. Let him know how awesome he did and how awesome it was of Kyle Kitchens to join us. And maybe we'll get him back on the channel in the future if you guys like the interview. Once again, I always appreciate the support. Check out all of our sponsors in the links below. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Cause that's how I do, never a day off. too busy making moves. Slither to the rhythm, and it's simple what they missing. I'm the realest, perfect show for symbolism. So just kick back and listen while I elevate the tension. Not to mention letting out verbal aggression when I'm stressing, and that's a better session without a question. Even blinking or closing my eyes, feel like I'm still dreaming when these people are thinking that I'm not even breathing.
Say dreaming, cause dreaming leads on to believing, and once you believe it, man, the next step is achievement. Paint a picture of the future in your mind, how you see fit. A little elbow grease in time, man, I go, you will reach it. The truth, I'm trying to speak it. No time for preaching. The time is now to change your future, avoid all the grieving. But don't get it twisted, cause life's still hard as a look. But the path is much easier if you know which way you're going and what for. Sky is the limit, now I'm shooting for the next galaxy. So if I miss, I'll hit the moon and still watch the world bow down beneath. You gotta have the education mixed with dedication. Little inspiration, turn to motivation and patience. You'll exceed your expectations. For real. And stay away from the greed and desperation. You'll succeed, no hesitation. Life's an ocean, just keep your head up, man, and you can breathe no respiration.